Good afternoon. I extend greetings to all attending our first summer commencement in recent history. Today, Des Moines University will award degrees to graduates in the Anatomy and Biomedical Sciences graduate programs, as well as graduates in Healthcare Administration and Osteopathic Medicine who have completed degree requirements according to university policy. Will the audience please rise for the playing of the national anthem? Please be seated. I'm now pleased to introduce Dr. Karen McLean, University Provost, who is the presiding official for today's ceremony.
President Franklin, distinguished faculty, graduates, and guests, welcome to the 2011 Summer Commencement Ceremony for Des Moines University. This is an exciting day when our students fulfill the promise that began with their acceptance to Des Moines University and culminates with the awarding of the graduate degree. Graduates, congratulations to each of you for completing your rigorous course of study. During this time of unprecedented challenge and opportunity, you are the promise of the future. While one can barely imagine the changes that will become part of the health science and healthcare landscape in the next 10 to 25 years, you are superbly prepared with outstanding training and a commitment to lifelong learning. This is also a day of celebration for all associated with Des Moines University. Throughout its history, this institution has conferred more than 15,000 degrees to improve the art and science of medical care, as well as leadership and management of the healthcare industry. Graduations would not occur were it not for the dedicated efforts of our faculty, who as scholars, advisors, and mentors have contributed immensely to your education into the enhancement of the professions you represent. They have demanded a great effort from you, but from that effort, you have accomplished an educational milestone that is only achieved by a select few. On behalf of the faculty and all others in the community that proudly call Des Moines University, I extend thanks to the families and friends who have joined us to celebrate the achievements of these graduates. And now, it is my great privilege to introduce our commencement speaker. Dr. Angela L. Walker Franklin was named Des Moines University's 15th president in March. She has enjoyed a distinguished career in academic medicine for the past 20 years and previously served as the executive vice president and provost at Meharry Medical College in Nashville, Tennessee. In that position, she oversaw academic and administrative departments for 3 schools within the college, as well as other departments. She served as acting president during the summer of 2009 and held a professorship in Meharry's Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences. Prior to her role at Meharry, Dr. Franklin held several positions at the Morehouse School of Medicine in Atlanta, Georgia. A licensed clinical psychologist, Dr. Franklin is in her 4th term on the Board of Trustees of Furman University, a liberal arts college in Greenville, South Carolina. She earned a PhD in clinical psychology at Emory University in Atlanta. Please welcome Dr. Franklin as she delivers the commencement address for our graduates today.
Thank you, Dr. McLean. Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this, our first summer commencement ceremony. As the new president of Des Moines University, I am honored to be the first to give this address at this time. And although new to you and to the school, I have come to know and love this place as you have come to know and love it. This is your day, and we honor this occasion as a milestone in your career trajectory. Underneath those mortarboards, I can see confidence, optimism, and excitement for what is in store for the future. But I can also imagine your thoughts of ambivalence, anxiety, trepidation, and insecurity as you step out of your comfort zone into the next phase of your careers. I know the feeling, and I have been there. I'm sure there are thoughts such as, am I ready? Did I get all that I need to advance to the next level? Will I be marketable and hired? Will I be able to apply the knowledge that I received? Will I be good at what I do? All the many questions that our graduates are contemplating at this time. Some of you may have all the answers and the confidence to move to the next phase, whereas others may still be searching, but ready. Either way, it is all very much okay, and just a part of the journey as you sort out what the future holds for you. So this is your day, the day to celebrate and reflect on what is in store for you. I congratulate you on your efforts, your families for their sacrifices, and your professors for their dedication to excellence. Now, in some institutions, it appears that as the graduating classes grow larger, the commencement ceremony seems to grow longer. Have you noticed? So I'm sure you have sat through your own commencements before and that of your friends and relatives and hoped and prayed for a short address. If we were to follow the guideline of large class, therefore long ceremony, then clearly you must be looking around thinking that with this tiny class before us at this first summer commencement, then the ceremony should be short. And of course, the keynote address should be brief, right? Well, I do plan to be brief. Not nearly as brief as Salvador Dali, who was an eccentric artist, who was named a commencement speaker, stood at the podium and said, "I will be so brief, I have already finished," and sat down. Now, I understand one of our distinguished alums, Dr. Bill Anderson, tried something similar at a commencement program a few years ago, that he stood up at the podium and decided, okay, I'm finished, and sat down. Well, I'm still standing, but only for a short time here today. So let's take a few minutes to reflect on this institution, your soon-to-be alma mater. One of the things that I learned first about Des Moines University as I looked at this opportunity to join you was found in a statement posted on most of our marketing materials. And it reads, "This institution has existed for more than 100 years with a singular mission to develop distinctive healthcare professionals who are committed to patient-centered health promotion, the application of evidence-based practice, the discovery of knowledge, and the provision of competent and compassionate health care." The phrases patient-centered and compassionate jump right out at you in this mission and vision statement. So what exactly does that mean? And what does it mean for you as the future healthcare professionals who will proudly go out now to be of service? Commencement is a time of celebrating accomplishments of the past and also an opportunity to acknowledge all the good to come in the future. You all have reached a certain milestone. You have accomplished a goal set as you entered DMU just a few short years ago. But now what? What's next? Clearly, some of you have obvious next steps as you continue on in other advanced level training programs in your various specialties. Others will begin working in your chosen field and begin to put your skills to work. You will begin doing the job you have been trained to do, and I'm convinced you are prepared and ready. However, there's another side to this message of what's next. Now, it is not that often that I quote Oprah Winfrey, but bear with me for a minute today. Those of you who are familiar with her magazine and her show have often heard her make reference to the things that she knows to be true. In one of her passages of things that she has come to know to be true, she made the following statement, and I'll quote, "If you don't know what your passion is, realize that one reason for your existence on this earth is to find it." She goes on to say that everyone has a power for greatness, not for fame, but greatness, because greatness is determined by service. Now, I believe this message is appropriate for this particular point in time as we celebrate your successes and as you reflect on what's next. I believe what Oprah is really trying to tell us is that we all need to find our own personal mission statement and vision for our lives. It also means that we all need a purpose, a passion, an ability to what I like to call leading from within. If you want success, you can't make success your goal. Instead, I ask that you strive for significance. When you define your existence on being significant and shift your focus from success to service, your existence on this earth will become more meaningful and success will follow. So let's think of your chosen professions in the healthcare health services arena. As you go out to be of service, you'll be faced with many challenges, personally and professionally. So let's think about problems facing healthcare. We have issues of access. We have workforce needs. We have skyrocketing costs. We have bureaucratic challenges. We have confusion around issues of healthcare policy. We have political infighting. All around the world, healthcare systems are facing enormous difficulties in meeting demands such as distributing resources and providing adequate care due to the large numbers of patients in need. The rising costs of medical services, technology, and medication are becoming unaffordable for many patients, preventing these individuals from receiving adequate health care. And we are dealing with an unknown. That is, what are the long-term implications of our efforts to address health care reform? There are scare tactics being used, but a considerable amount of confusion exists about what exactly we are trying to accomplish in trying to create a a system where the citizens of this country have greater access to competent and compassionate care. Now, as a proud DMU alumnus, I'm sure you would also agree that we need to shift from an illness model to a wellness model, since health, wellness, and prevention are integral components of who we are as an institution. But how do you help others to make that shift? And what are the implications of the need to change policies to address the public health issues of our communities? Prevention, wellness, primary care, policy, changing lifestyles, and now efforts in the state of Iowa, thanks to our governor, Terry Branstad. We want to become the healthiest state in the nation, a noble goal we hope will catch on. So there are challenges all around you, and you, the members of the class of 2011, will enter the workforce at one of the most tumultuous times in our history. We look to you, the next generation of providers and professionals, who will be on the front line, ultimately focused on meeting the healthcare needs of our citizens. Clearly, the frustrations in dealing with healthcare can have a negative impact, in some instances, on the delivery of patient-centered, compassionate care. So how do you, future healthcare providers, administrators, public policy advocates, insulate yourself from these frustrations? You will be at the center of these challenges as you go out to be of service. I believe you do so by developing your own personal core values and staying true to your personal mission and vision for your future. I mentioned earlier this idea of leading from within. One of my favorite inspirational books was the little book by Parker Palmer entitled, Let Your Life Speak. In it, he raises the question, is the life I am living the same as the life that wants to live in me? In other words, let the highest truths and values guide everything you do. In his own search for selfhood, he essentially admonishes individuals that before you tell your life what you intend to do with it, listen for what it intends to do with you. Before you tell your life what truths and values you have decided to live up to, let your life tell you what truths you embody, what values you represent. You have made the choice in pursuing your chosen career paths. What I hope you have spent as much time doing is deciding what values you represent and allow those values to guide everything you do. As a graduate of this university, I hope we have instilled in you, as our faculty have instilled in you, our core values: excellence, learning, leadership, collaboration, stewardship, professionalism, humanism, social responsibility. Whereas all of these are important, I'd like to focus just a few more minutes on professionalism and humanism. Humanism offers a basis for moral values. It provides an overall sense of purpose and meaning. In medicine, it means compassionately caring for patients, families, and all who are part of the system of the delivery of care. Some may think that professionalism and humanism are the same. I think they are different, but intertwined. Professionalism is a set of behaviors, humanism a set of beliefs. One can learn to act professionally, but it may only be on the surface. Good superficial behaviors are often not sustainable and not good enough. Is it enough to go through the motions without the virtues that should form their foundation? So doing the appropriate acts that define a professional might be easy during a routine day, but less so when under stress. We lose sight of the truths which embody us, the values we represent. So I encourage you to tap into the emotional dimension of caring for others, be they your patients, family, friends, and the greater society we live in, because only then can we validate what it means to be a humanistic professional, not just how to act like one. Without true empathy and respect for the human condition, a commitment to professionalism becomes largely an intellectual exercise. To those who will go out to be of service to the larger community, whether as administrators or public health and policy advocates, I also hope you too will remember to focus first on doing what is right simply because it is the right thing to do. So let's go back to this message I began with, of leading from within. Let's reflect on those feelings of anxiety, fear, and trepidation that are natural at this point in time as you go out to your call to service. I'm going to end with another little passage from Parker Palmer. He says, "We have places of fear inside of us, but we have other places as well. Places with names like trust and hope and faith. We can choose to leave from one of those places, to stand on ground that is not riddled with the fault lines of fear, to move toward others from a place of promise instead of anxiety. As we stand in one of those places, fear may remain close at hand, or our spirits may still tremble, but now we stand on ground that will support us, ground from which we can lead others toward a more trustworthy, more hopeful, more faithful way of being in the world. I am convinced that you, the class of 2011, are on the verge of greatness, not just because you are well trained, thanks to the faculty, but because you have the heart and soul of a compassionate individual who believes and behaves in a way that defines a humanistic professional. Acknowledge the passion that you have for your chosen profession. Define yourself with a set of personal values and strive to be significant. Success will come. Thank you and congratulations."
Thank you, President Franklin. The Dean of the College of Health Sciences and the Dean of the College of Osteopathic Medicine will now present their graduates prior to the awarding of the degrees. I am pleased to introduce Dr. Jody Cahalan, Dean of the College of Health Sciences.
Will those graduates from the College of Health Sciences please stand? President Franklin and honored guests, on behalf of the faculty, I present to you the summer graduating class for the year 2011 of the College of Health Sciences. The members of the College of Health Sciences faculty have evaluated the candidates and endorsed these students as worthy of having the degree Master of Healthcare Administration conferred on them. It is with great pride that I present the summer class of 2011 of the College of Health Sciences. You may be seated.
Will those graduates from the College of Osteopathic Medicine please stand? President Franklin, member of the Boards of Trustees and honored guest, on behalf of the faculty, I present to you the summer 2011 graduates from the College of Osteopathic Medicine. The members of the faculty of the College of Osteopathic Medicine have evaluated the candidates and endorsed all of these students as worthy of having the degree Master of Science in Anatomy, Master of Science in Biomedical Sciences, or Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine conferred upon them. President Franklin, it is my distinct pleasure and pride that I present the summer class of 2011 of the College of Osteopathic Medicine. Please be seated.
Once again, it is my pleasure to call our president to the podium for the conferring of degrees. Will all the graduates please rise?
I am pleased to receive these candidates. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of this university and by the state of Iowa, I do hereby confer upon you the degree for which you have been endorsed with all of the honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining to this degree, of which your diploma will be a witness forever. You are hereby recognized as graduates of Des Moines University. Congratulations. You may be seated.
We will now recognize the degree recipients individually. The program director will introduce each graduate and coordinate the hooding ritual to signify the attainment of a significant academic milestone. I am pleased to introduce Dr. Carla Stebbins, Program Director for the Healthcare Administration Program, who will direct the recognition ceremony for the graduates in the Healthcare Administration Program.
Good afternoon. We're going to start with our first graduate, and Mr. Fritz Morgengren is going to join me to help with the hooding. Our first student is April Martin. April is currently living here in Des Moines. You can come on up, April. Her undergraduate degree is from the University of Phoenix. She has a bachelor's degree in health administration. Her capstone project, which is one of the final projects that our students complete for their degree, was the development of a marketing plan for a nursing home here in Iowa. And currently she's working at Wells Fargo Home Mortgage. So. Okay, our second graduate is Katie Kriener. Katie also lives here in Urbandale, Iowa. She has a bachelor's degree in exercise and sports science from Iowa State University. Her capstone project was assisted living marketing strategies, and she is currently a pharmaceutical sales rep for Schreier Pharmaceuticals. Okay, now I'll be joined by Dr. Ann York. And the faculty are coming up to hood their advisees. So, should have said that earlier. So, our next student is Diane Harchin. Diane lives in West Des Moines. She has a Bachelor of Arts in Business from the University of Northern Iowa. Her capstone project was the ramification of payer prescribing requirements on patients, and she has a brand new position as a project manager for Iowa Health Physicians. Dr. York is going to stay with me to help with the final three graduates because they're my advisees. So, first we have Patrick Cornett. Patrick, again, lives here in the Des Moines area. He has a bachelor's in Management Information Systems and a minor in Statistics from Oregon State University. His capstone project was reducing readmissions follow-up appointments through follow-up appointments for the Iowa Health System. And he is currently searching for work in performance improvement and healthcare-related fields. And he's available afterwards for any offers, right? Okay, next we have Kim Furmeister. Kim is from Salon, Iowa, over by Iowa City, I believe. She has a bachelor's in her health information management program that used to be here at Des Moines University. And her capstone project was a 5-year department review of the University of Iowa's Children's Hospital Department of Pediatrics. And she currently is the Health Services Manager and Assistant Director of the Department of Pediatrics at the University of Iowa Children's Hospital. Finally, we have Matt Meyer. Matt, again, lives here in the Des Moines area. He has a bachelor's in business administration from Mount Mercy University in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Matt's administrative internship focused on a study of health policy making at the state level here in the state of Iowa. And Matt is a senior procurement analyst, a.k.a. contract negotiator, with Wellmark here in Des Moines.
It is now my pleasure to welcome Dr. Craig Canby to the podium. Dr. Canby is the director of the anatomy program and a professor of anatomy. Dr. Canby will recognize the graduate in the Master of Science in Anatomy program. Dr. Jeffrey Gray will follow and will direct the recognition of the Master of Science in Biomedical Sciences graduates.
I am pleased to recognize Keely Marie Cassidy, but I do so in absentia as she's unable to participate in today's ceremonies. Keely's hometown is Kingston, Illinois. She is a graduate of Buena Vista University in Storm Lake, Iowa, and her bachelor's degree was in athletic training. And the reason she could not participate today is she has started a PhD program. She is a PhD candidate at Indiana University, and she is pursuing her PhD in anatomy education. So, again, we recognize Keely in absentia. I'd also like to take a brief moment to recognize a special individual. We get to enjoy the pomp and circumstance and see it in real time, but someone has to work behind the scenes to make this happen. And that individual is Mary Ann Zug, Vice President for Student Services, and she has a very sharp administrative staff to help her in these planning efforts. It's no small task to pull this off, and she is a beacon of student life and spirit here at Des Moines University. So thank you, Mary Ann.
It's my distinct pleasure to direct the hooding of the Masters of Science and Biomedical Sciences graduates. I would like to first call Rachel M. Firkins and her major professor, Dr. Kim Tran. Rachel is originally from Centerville, Iowa. She received her undergraduate degree from Drake University in biology and neuroscience. She's been studying for the last 2 years in Dr. Tran's laboratory. Her thesis title is Mechanisms of Estrogen's Effects on Calcium Homeostasis in Vascular Endothelial Cells. I would next like to call Russell Hamilton, who I'm proud to say is from my own laboratory. Russell is originally from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He got his bachelor's degree from Mount Mercy College in Cedar Rapids with a major in biology. His thesis title is Investigation of the Mechanism by which BLA CMY2 positive salmonella treated with ceftriaxone exhibits increased resistance to antimicrobials.
I would now like to invite Dr. Kendall Greed, Dean of the College of Osteopathic Medicine, to recognize the graduates earning the degree Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine.
Thank you, Dr. McLean. I would like to call Matthew Huff up. Matt is our proud graduate from Oregon State, Corvallis, Oregon. Matt had a Bachelor of Science degree conferred upon him before matriculating at DMU, and Matt will begin his emergency medicine residency program at Marietta Memorial Hospital in Marietta, Ohio. Dr. Gray, if you will help me. Our next graduate, Megan Klomps McClung. Megan comes to us. She's a native Minnesotan, but did her undergraduate degree at Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado, with a Bachelor of Arts degree in anthropology. Megan will be doing a family practice residency at Broadlawns Medical Center here in Des Moines, which she will start next month. Congratulations. If the graduates from the College of Osteopathic Medicine will come forward, I'd like to recite the oath. I'm honored to lead these graduates as they pledge to adhere to the principles of the osteopathic medical profession defined in the osteopathic code. And if you will repeat after me. I do hereby affirm my loyalty to the profession I'm about to enter. And I will be mindful always to my great responsibility to preserve the health and life of my patients.
I will be mindful always of my great responsibility to preserve the health and the life of my patients.
To retain their respect both as a physician and a friend. Who will guard their secrets with scrupulous honor and fidelity. To perform faithfully my professional duties. To employ only those recognized methods of treatment consistent with good judgment. And with my skill and ability, keeping in mind always nature's laws. And the body's inherent capacity for recovery. I will be ever vigilant in aiding in the general welfare of the community.
I will be ever vigilant in aiding in the general welfare of the community.
Sustaining its laws and institutions.
Sustaining its laws and institutions.
Not engaging in those practices which will in any way bring shame or discredit upon myself or my profession.
Not engaging in those practices which will in any way bring shame or discredit upon myself or my profession.
I will give no drugs for deadly purposes to any person, though it may be asked of me.
I will give no drugs for deadly
I will endeavor to work in accord with my colleagues in a spirit of progressive cooperation.
I will endeavor to work in accord with my colleagues in a spirit of progressive cooperation.
And never by work or by act cast imputations upon them or their rightful practices.
And never by work or by act cast imputations upon them or their rightful practices.
I will look with respect and esteem upon all those who have taught me my art.
I will look with respect and esteem upon all who have taught me my art.
To my college, I will be loyal.
To my college, I will be loyal.
And strive always for its best interest and for the interest of the students who will come after me.
And strive always for its best interest and for the interest of the students who will come after me.
I will be ever alert to further the application of basic biologic truths to the healing arts.
I will be ever alert to further the application of basic biological truths to the healing arts.
And to develop the principles of osteopathy which were first enunciated by Andrew Taylor Still.
And to develop the principles of osteopathy which were first enunciated by Andrew Taylor.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Before these proceedings officially closed, it is befitting for the graduates to pay tribute to those who have contributed greatly to their success. Will all the graduates please rise? Through their dedication and commitment, your esteemed faculty have advanced your capacity as caring and compassionate healthcare providers, scientists, and administrators. As you go forward, you too have a responsibility to wisely use what you have learned to preserve a quality of life for those individuals and communities you serve. I ask you to demonstrate your appreciation by applauding the faculty seated in the front rows. Please remain standing. Graduates, to your parents, loved ones, friends and supporters, people who have cheered you every step of this journey, I ask you to turn and face the audience because this is your opportunity to say thanks. On behalf of the administration, faculty, and staff at Des Moines University, we commend each of you on achieving this significant milestone. And I do have another commendation that I would like to mention today, and that is to our pianist, Janet Bradford, who has contributed greatly to the atmosphere of our ceremony. And now, I am pleased to invite our president to deliver a special message to the graduates.
Okay, this day is a special day of celebration, achievement, and challenge. We celebrate your successful completion of the requirements for the Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine, Master of Science in Anatomy, Master of Science in Biomedical Sciences, and Master of Healthcare Administration. This is an important milestone, and we celebrate it with you. It is also a day when we acknowledge your achievement of a body of knowledge and a set of special skills with which you can now go forth to render special service to improve the healthcare, and health sciences education of our state, our nation, and the world. We extend our congratulations to you and your families and your loved ones. We share in the pride they feel in your accomplishments, and we are as excited as they are about the service you will render and the difference you will make. What an exciting and rewarding future that lies ahead for you. A favorite quote of mine is, "Know that you will make your living by what you get, but you will make a life by what you give." Go and serve. Commit to your part in fulfilling our noble mission in the delivery of medical care, in the advancement of knowledge, and in strengthening our system of health care. Reach far, dream colossal dreams, set audacious goals, be bold in leadership, and in the name of service to mankind, be possessed of an outrageous ambition to make things better. That is your legacy. The service that you give is partial payment on the investments made by others in you. I therefore charge you to relentlessly pursue knowledge, seek wisdom, give service, and demand excellence throughout your lifetime. I charge you to fulfill the promise of being health professionals committed first to service for our nation's rural and underserved citizens, with a dedication to prevention, wellness, and the delivery of compassionate, patient-centered care. I charge you to maintain respect for others and to cherish those who have been your greatest champions. And remember, professional integrity is essential to your success as a health care professional. So I charge you to also embrace the values of honesty, accountability, collaboration, and inclusiveness as the basic tenets of integrity. I charge you to be honorable and supportive alumni of Des Moines University. See this as an imperative to invest in the next generation of healthcare professionals. I charge you to lead, to inspire, and to serve, and be always assured of our enormous pride in you. Congratulations, dream big, and focus your life on doing a world of good. Congratulations. I now am pleased to ask the Grand Marshal to step to the podium for the final pronouncement of this ceremony. These proceedings are now officially concluded. Family members and friends are invited to greet the graduates, and university administrators in the receiving line in Alumni Hall. A reception will follow in the Commons. Please remain seated until the participants have exited the auditorium. Thank you.